A bad connection there. All right. To Russell Westbrook and his struggles and why I don't think he's a top 10 player in the league anymore. I don't think his game is going to, unless he changes his game like Dwayne Wade did and other players that play that style that ended up trying to figure things out. I don't think he's made that way. I don't think he's structured that way to do that. And he's 30 years old. Now, he still has a couple of great years left in him, but the question still remains. Can you win with him as your main guy? I asked this question on a podcast I did 3 years ago. This is right when Durant left to Golden State, and right before the season started. Right when we were starting a historic run with the triple-double year, the first year. Obviously the 3 in a row, but I mean the first year, 2016, 2017. And I asked the question, can you win with him as your main guy? Is he good enough to draw players? Now, he's run Paul George, obviously, and for a little while, Carl Anthony, but that was a failure, obviously. But, hold on. Can you win a title with Russell Westbrook? And right now, the answer is no. It's a clear no. Like, you can't even argue that right now. That's not even, like, if you actually say that you can win Westbrook as the main guy, like, you're an idiot. Because you can't even get out of the first round of the playoffs, much less go to the finals. So, that's not even a conversation right now. I mean, at this point, if you're one of those guys saying that, and him having talent now, like, the first year you gave him a pass, obviously, because he didn't have anybody. So, yeah, obviously, Houston beats him in 5 games, but you didn't have anybody outside of him. I get that. These last 2 years, especially this year, no. There's no question. There's no argument anymore. I mean, people are arguing on his defense, like, saying that, oh, well, what about coaching? Well, yeah, coaching sucks, too. I mean, but Billy Donovan is not forcing Westbrook to make bad decisions either. So, let's also be fair there, too. I mean, both Billy Donovan and Russell Westbrook's struggles are not mutually exclusive. Both things are not mutually exclusive. It's that simple. So, right now the answer is no. He's not a top 10 player in the league right now, and that's just that. So, another sad offseason for the Thunder, unfortunately. Tonight's predictions, of course, I think, like last night, I think both series tonight end. I think the Rockets beat Utah tonight, and then Golden State beats the Clippers, and we have our second round series in the West all set up, pretty much, other than waiting for San Antonio and Denver to finish things up. I think tomorrow is their game 6, actually. That's like the only compelling series of the entire first round. It's insane. That's why I haven't been plugged in as much. I was like plugged in with it as much. So, I don't know. It's going to be a fun... I think the second round on is going to be great to watch. So, that's just what I think about that. So, the playoffs will pick up, I'm sure, in the next round and beyond, and that's just that. Before I go, and by the way, I did 2 videos. So I'm going to probably end up splicing these together at some point and put it on my YouTube page. But tomorrow, Joe Biden is supposed to announce that he's running for president for 2020. And now is when the race really picks up. Because look, we have all the... I'm not a Democrat for the record. I'm just observing from an outsider. We have all these Democratic candidates right now. Buttigieg and fucking Kamala Harris and all these other nominees right now that are trying to make a case to be the Democrat nominee for 2020. And to me, Ian Beto's in now, Bernie Sanders, all that. And to me, this race was I can never assess this race until we knew Joe Biden was going to get a nut. And to me, Joe Biden is really, in my opinion, the Democrats' best chance to win to beat Trump in 2020. That's my opinion. The problem is, I think Joe Biden's biggest challenge is not beating Trump in 2020. It's getting through this process here, the Democratic process. Because right now, the Democratic Party, in my opinion, is fractured. It's a fractured party. You got a far left progressive movement that's really strong right now. You have the Elizabeth Warrens and Bernie Sanders in the world, and that side of the faction is strong, and yet you still have a lot of a lot of centrist, some would say conservative Democrats. While some of them are liberal, they're not very far to the left, and that's where I think where the Joe Bidens, happen to live at, and close to the middle, in my opinion, anyway. The problem is if you go far left, if you go far left in the primaries, and then you have to come back to the middle in the general, that's your issue. So Joe Biden has to find a way to still cater to the far left while not going too far to the left to alienate potential voters in the general election, because ultimately, to me, it comes down to this. The election comes down to the middle. People like me, MPAs, and independents, these are the parties that tilt. These are the people that tilt the elections. Because you can go ahead and Joe Biden can go and say he's a Democratic socialist and all this other stuff. But once you make that position clear, is the best chance, in my opinion, to win in 2020, mainly because of the fact that you have to cater to the middle, and the middle don't like the fringes. The middle don't like the far right and far left, and that's the votes are going to tilt the election. Same with Donald Trump. Donald Trump's approval rating now is still in the mid 40s. For a guy that's gone through as much shit he's gone through in terms of chaos and everything else, that's not a bad spot to be in right now if you're Donald Trump. This is the guy that was at one point, when this thing started, was in the low 30s. I think in the high 20s. So that is something that people need to look out for. I think Joe Biden's biggest challenge is really catering, finding out not to go too far to the left during the primaries, but somehow win a nomination, and then also win the general election and cater to the middle. That's going to be the biggest challenge for Joe Biden in 2020. But we'll find out tomorrow once he makes official tomorrow, and then like I said, once Biden got in the race, we know for a fact that that's where everything starts to fizzle out. All the little Democrat nominees that really doesn't have a case, let's be real, they'll all fizzle out by the end of the year. So anyway, that's it for me. I'll go ahead and update the video that I spliced into due to a connection issue. Again, YouTube page, of course, Ernest Christian, of course, the podcast, Ernest Podcast. A lot going on this week, so we'll talk to you later. God bless you guys. Kisses. Love you guys. Take care and see ya.